Well, hello from Westminster, and we're back again outside discussing Boris's first few days, and is there an increasing likelihood of Scottish independence? These are some of the topics that we'll be talking about today. So what has Boris said? And what's my thoughts about Boris? Well, I think Boris might be another Liberal. I think Boris might not be an actual Conservative, which is not a bad thing. If he's a libertarian liberalist, then that's certainly not a bad thing. But I'm not quite sure from his political macerations just now what his actual political philosophy is. We have already seen Boris saying years ago that illegal immigrants should be allowed to stay in the UK. And we don't actually know how many illegal immigrants there are. We saw just the other day there in Newsnight that a man from Kenya is seeking political asylum. Now, I didn't know there was any wars in Kenya, maybe apart from what's happened with the Muslims trying to blow up the Kenyans. I don't think there's any internal wars in Kenya to be seeking asylum for, and this gentleman was in Glasgow. So that means that our political asylum process is completely corrupted. And there was another woman on I think it was Newsnight on the BBC as usual, whose daughters were going to get FGM, which means they would have been Islamic, and if she went back to the country, not to go to another part of the country where she could have gone, but she had to go to the UK, and that the daughters would have FGM on them if she wasn't in Scotland, which isn't really an asylum case either. So obviously we're being lied to as usual by the people in Westminster, our political class, including the SNP. They're actually doing this as well, that they've already signed us up to the Union of the Mediterranean, the Barcelona process, which was the predecessor to the Union of the Mediterranean, and now the UN Compact, where we're not going to be allowed to say anything with regards to this, which is the mass importation of people. And it's never not been in any, like the Labour Party or the Conservative Party or the Liberals have never had it in any of the manifestos. They keep lying to us and saying that these are all doctors and engineers, which is obviously just a big lie. And these guys, the political class, couldn't lie straight in their bed. But this is obviously, there's been a reason that this has happened. And we have been allowed to flood in tens of thousands of people. Economic reason, that they don't care if they're putting British people who have paid taxes for generations out onto the street. They don't care about that. And they're quite happy to put British people out onto the street and actually make way for these people. There was 500 refugees who, some of them, they've all been turned down by the British government, who have now getting the locks changed. But I was in the homeless units for 2 years, and I wasn't given any sort of accommodation that was long term for that period of time, and it was just an absolute nightmare. And people are coming in to the UK and actually getting preferential treatment because of our political class. And it's not in their manifestos, and they've not told us. They've just done it sort of sneakily and telling us it's all doctors and nurses, and we should be grateful for being replaced, like places like Tower Hamlets, where the indigenous population has nearly been completely replaced. Oh my God, I mean, I don't know what the requirement was to replace Tower Hamlets. And then you get people like Diane Abbott in Parliament, who is just absolutely atrocious. I mean, it's dumbing down the actual population. Although, having said that, you get people like Priti Patel, who is a very talented MP. But I didn't remember, let's just have an amnesty for 500 or potentially 1 million people in the UK. And some of them might be criminals and people that we don't want in the UK, but, that's fine, just keep them in. That's not a sensible immigration policy. That is effectively the Conservatives. The Conservatives, and I say that nothing's been conserved there. Conservatives in the most lucid form that they're just having basically a de facto open immigration policy by allowing illegal immigrants to remain in the country. That's only going to encourage other people to actually come and displace. They're actually getting preferential treatment. These people who have not paid taxes are now getting housed ahead of the people who have paid taxes for generations. I mean, you couldn't actually write it. And the political class, and I'm not just talking about the Conservatives, they're all being duplicitous, from the illiberal, undemocratic Democrats to the Marxist, step-toes Marxists. They're all globalists with open borders policies. The Green Party, SNP, and not one of them are saying, well, wait a minute, hold on, I don't know if an open borders is the correct policy. Oh my goodness. And I mean, nobody's challenged Boris in this because he's actually new in. No, we'll just give everybody, instead of what you should have done is actually give them working visas. If they're here to work, then give them working visas. I would do that with asylum seekers as well. If they've got one, but they would have to have a time limit on it. It's not going to be a working visa with an ability to convert into staying. It should be working visas that can be increased from time to time. That means they could work and also shouldn't have access to the social services until they've been here for a period of time and paid in a certain amount of taxation. But no, that's too much. That's too sensible. Just put other people in the streets. Just put the indigenous population, which I know for a fact they're doing. They're putting the indigenous population on the streets who have paid for these social services and giving them sleeping bags. They're not giving a shit about them. It's only they're getting their mortgage paid for, their two homes. They don't care. So, what else has been happening then? So, we have also got him waffling on about 39 billion for some train services between Manchester and somewhere else. 39 billion pounds. If you're going to spend 39 billion pounds, unless this is like a link between a hyperlink or the Hyperloop, which can travel from Glasgow to London in less time than it takes to fly, only at that time is that actually going to be of some sort of benefit. Something like 20 minutes faster from Manchester and spending 39 billion pounds is a complete waste of time and money. I mean, it's marginally increasing what is already available. So why are you going to spend 39 billion pounds? You would be better. And also if foreign companies are going to now move outside the UK, you'd be better spending the 39 billion pounds on British entrepreneurs, stage 1 and stage 2 funding, give them grant funding because after that, once they've actually developed whatever it is they're developing, whether it's a product or service, then they can go to banks and venture capital and business angels if that doesn't happen. But we need to give British entrepreneurs in the Midlands and the North stage 1 and stage 2 funding. I prefer to give them that than giving it to putting up a new train track. What a waste of money. So there's two. So Boris is just in and he's saying things and people are going, oh, that's great, Boris. Oh, just let illegal immigrants stay and blah, blah, blah. Boris is on a real sticky wicket. They're already rebelling. There's Hammond talking to the gentleman from the Labour Party now. So the Social Democrats are talking to the Christian Democrats, probably, and there's, what's her name, Jo Swinton, not actually wanting to go into coalition, an anti-Brexit coalition or stop Brexit coalition with Corbyn, because Corbyn was a Brexiteer and Corbyn has now been hamstrung by the Social Democrats within the Labour Party under Tom Watson, and he's now been prevented from actually being a Brexiteer himself. And now the Labour Party, like the Liberals, like the Christian Democrats within the Conservative Party, and the Greens, and the SNP, and Plaid Cymru are all corporatist globalist Remain parties. So you're only limited. So the Brexit Party is now hamstrung the Conservative Party as well, because we're seeing the people moving to the Liberal Democrats under Jo Swinton, been really boring old Joe. Really boring over the last few days, listening to her waffling on. Honestly, absolutely tedious. So the fact is that she is now trying to get the people, the Social Democrats and the Christian Democrats, to join the liberal, undemocratic Democrats. And then now you've got Boris. Boris is now captured by the Brexit Party. Nigel has done a fantastic job. Nigel in the polls has gone down. The Brexit Party has gone down slightly because people have gone and seen the Great White Hope, which is Boris Johnson. Not really a conservative, is he? Is he a sort of he is a one nation Tory, which means he's actually a Christian Democrat as well, although he's been called right wing. Obviously shouting right wing at somebody makes it more popular, a bit edgy. When he's not really right wing, he's a potential one nation Tory. He actually was a Remainer. How much of that is politicking, only time will tell. Ooh, so much fun. So what's going to happen? So Boris is now limited. Boris is on a political straitjacket. It's a political impasse that he cannot get out of. He has to deliver Brexit on the 31st of October. And it doesn't matter about the companies. If companies are leaving, that's fair enough, blah, blah, blah. It would be better facilitating British entrepreneurs, giving them stage 1, stage 2, start-up capital. Don't waste the money on a new link between, I don't know, Manchester, wherever it is. Waste the money. Get the money to entrepreneurs who have got great ideas, who are going to innovate British industry, and that's what you need to do, Boris. 39 billion for this new track is a complete waste of time, unless it's like the Chinese, it's a 300 mile an hour track, or the new Hyperloop, which has not been developed yet, which is going to travel even faster. A waste of money, so somebody can go home 20, 30 minutes faster. You'd be better giving it to the British entrepreneurs. Oh, so that's interesting as well. So we've got Joe Swinton. Oh dear. Oh, honestly, it's like Magnolia paint. I mean, really, it's just tediously boring. And absolutely not going to add anything of political interest. Oh, we want a second referendum because we lost the first. So you're going to honour the second referendum? No, we're not going to honour it. We're just going to keep going that we want to be part of the undemocratic EU because we're illiberal, undemocratic Democrats. Oh, right, I get it. So just because you lost, you want another referendum? Yeah, that's great. That's not going to happen anyway. What's going to happen is if and it looks absolutely teed up for a no-deal Brexit. If Boris is a Remainer, I think Boris is going to have to go back. Nigel Farage has already said that the actual deal itself, the treaty that May had actually produced, was not up to it, was not good. And the fact was that it was not of a quality that they were actually wanting to sign this. Even without the backstop, if you don't even include the backstop, it was still the actual quality of the treaty was not up to things. So, if Boris goes back, and actually just tries to get the backstop taken out, it might still not pass the Commons, and thereby not being implemented. And we've also seen that Nigel's Brexit Party could completely flip round again. He's going down because Boris is saying exactly what May said. I mean, they're just carbon copies of each other. It might be the actual Conservative Party that's a problem, and obviously all the rest that's a problem, and we might need another political party, which Nigel might be the man for it, to actually change the whole political spectrum. It's just the same. I mean, John Major to Tony Blair to Gordon Brown to David Cameron to May to Boris, they're all pretty much the same. They're actually out of a political mould, and none of them are really that inspiring. Okay, Boris has been okay the last period of time. I wouldn't be waxing lyrical about it. He's been okay. And he's been promising a lot as well. This is another thing they do. Oh, £39 billion. Where's the £39 billion coming from if we've actually got problems with austerity still? So where's that money coming from? I mean, there's a political reality gap here. So are they just waffling about the new Northern Powerhouse again? Just make sure the money's kept in London? Listen, there's big things afoot. Big things afoot. The people in the north might just join an independent Scotland, and what's going to happen just now as well, there's Boris going up to talk to old Ruthie baby, Ruthie Davison, who is the leader of the Conservative Party. Ruth is a very capable politician as well, but another wet Remainer, Christian Democrat, a liberal and democratic Democrat in the Conservative Party, but she's done very well to get up the slippery pole. Obviously, the Conservative Party are also quite interested in identity politics as well, regardless of the quality of the individual. So, Boris and Ruthie don't go on because they are, or it could be a fake fight, but well, let's just say they don't go on because Boris is now a Brexiteer, and there's Boris's dad now saying that he's a Brexiteer as well. It's like a contagion. Now, what have you started, Nigel Farage? The fact is that he is now, Boris's dad on the television now saying that he's a out-and-out Brexiteer. Oh, it just gets better. And then what have we got? We've also got Ruth and Boris going up to Scotland. What's he going to say? Oh, here's £300 million, just knock yourself out. That £300 million should be going to start-up companies. That's how you generate growth and wealth in the country. But the SNP don't know, because I don't think a lot of them have actually started a company. There's Mary Black, who's a talented young lady, talking about transphobia. There's no such thing as transphobia. Nobody's caring. I'm a total zero when it comes on the gaydar. I do not go. Don't have any thoughts about other men. And one of the things that has to protect me as a completely heterosexual man is the fact that trans women trying to masquerade as women, if they are actually say that they're trans, that's fair enough. That means they're not trying to deceive you. But if they're trying to deceive me by being kidding on they're a woman, to me, if I had sex with them, that's statutory rape for me. That's just the same. That's somebody lying. That's like me lying that I'm your husband and having sex with you because I've transformed my looks and I'm not your husband. But to me, it's statutory rape that a trans person, a trans woman or man, going with somebody of the same gender is just homosexuality, and it's not something that I need to be protected against. That they need to be jailed if that is actually happening, because I would never consent to actually doing that. So there has to be protection. There has to be protections as well for other people, like straight white men as well. We saw Diane Abbott stand up to racism, mob two English guys and an Irish guy, the people who were actually up in Edinburgh, saying this, and they were all white as well. There was no ethnic minorities or anything else there. This was two English guys from the trade unions and one Irish guy who were saying you can't be racist to white guys or white people. And I've got it's taped. It's on the Guerilla TV channel. So Diane Abbott saying you can't be racist to white people. Oh, geez, well, how big a problem does that leave? So there has to be protections for cis men, white people. I mean, there's the amount of racism. I mean, Ilhan Omar in America, completely racist. You've got to watch white men. I mean, and when the largest number of people who are murdering disproportionately are black men in America from the actual figures. But she's making openly racist comments and then calling everybody else racist. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. So we've got old Ruthie baby and Boris arguing away there. They're actually competing now because obviously the majority of the Conservative Party are not Conservative. They're part of the illiberal, undemocratic Democrats. They've just morphed into, they're probably maybe more at home than with actual true Conservatives. And So they are part of the Conservative Party. They're Conservative in this, a Liberal and Democratic Democrats. The Remainers that are in there, there's a large part of the Scottish Conservatives, but there's no party in the Scottish Parliament that's out now Brexiteers. Brexit Party and the UKIP do not have any members in the Scottish Parliament, and Labour have turned Remain. The Watermelons, the Green Party, are Remain. SNP are Remain, and large parts of the Conservative Party and the Liberal Undemocratic Democrats, Liberals Undemocratic Democrats are also Remainers. So there's 1 million Scots who are not represented in the Scottish Parliament, or represented by very few MSPs. So there's a big political void in there, and they're not actually being represented. So there's Ruthie, and because there'll be a large number of people who will support Boris in Scotland, and there's old Boris and Ruthie going head to head. They'll patch over the differences, but believe me, that's not there. Two non-peas in the pod, two different pods. I think these are two parts of different pods. So old Ruthie baby is now upset that Boris has been elected, and Boris might start getting people who are more online with his political opinion in Scotland promoted, I would have thought, rather than the Christian Democrats that are in Parliament just now. Although, as I said, Boris is a One Nation Conservative. Woof! So, very interesting. And there we've got the SNP. So what the SNP should do, but obviously I don't know if there's any joined up thinking in the SNP. What the SNP should say is, we have the right through universal, you've got the right through for winning all the majority of MPs in the Westminster Parliament. We've got the right for independence just by actually winning the majority of MPs. Unilateral UDI it's called. And we can actually just separate on that. So if you don't give us a referendum, a second referendum, we'll just declare a unilateral declaration of independence, because we have the majority of MPs in Westminster. So they could do that and get actually independence by doing that. I don't know who's advising, I don't know what the thoughts on that is actually going to be. But if they're going to win the majority of seats in Westminster, then for the next election, which it looks like they're going to win every seat, although it depends on whether Nigel's Brexit Party might make any breakthroughs as well. It depends on whether Boris actually delivers on the 31st of October, which is looking increasingly likely. There's very limited things that the Parliament can do to actually stop Boris and stop Brexit. It's a natural now legal process to go through on the 31st of October. And then we will be outside the EU. Then the politicians will start to be accountable, because they can't now say it's the EU's fault. So, I mean, it's massive changes. So Scotland can actually call a unilateral declaration of independence just by having the majority of Scottish seats. And they're going to win nearly every seat potentially next election from the polls that are out just now. If for any reason that Boris doesn't get through Brexit on the 31st, Boris is going to, the Conservative Party will collapse, the Christian Democrats will collapse, and the Brexit Party could hit 40% and win the majority of seats, and Nigel Farage could become Prime Minister. Could, but that's what's the situation is just now. We've got Nigel's playing it low key just now, because Nigel's raison d'etre was to leave the EU. But I think Nigel is starting to understand that there's greater problems. There's not going to be any constitutional reform. The unelected upper chamber is not going to be reformed through the Conservative Party. It's still going to be their appointees in the upper chamber. There's still going to be many issues. The Conservatives, because they're a corporatist party, not a capitalist party, and let me explain the difference. The difference is, this is why they're not going to give 39 billion to start-up businesses in the North, the Midlands and the even South Wales, and to actually generate actual development and growth in the economy. If these other companies, these foreign companies, are going to headquarter in Europe, we would be better developing and identifying our own entrepreneurs and developing our own businesses. But they're not going to do that because the Conservative Party, even though they use... There's parts of the Conservative Party, the Christian Democrats, the corporatist globalists use corporatism, which increases regulation, prevents growth of start-up businesses, and stops actual total capitalism in the system. I'll give you an example. All the banks collapsed, sorry, not all the banks, a significant proportion of the banks collapsed in the last crunch in 1999, no, not in 2009, 2008, 2009, and they became illiquid. Rather than letting those companies go bust, they've regulated to prevent competition and other banks starting up. So it's very difficult to start up your own bank. And B, they've actually allowed the taxpayer to subsidise and bail out these overly large banks that lack competition. They've restricted the competition and failed to actually allow capitalism and only allow corporatism, their friends in the banking industry, to prevent other clever people actually developing banks and developing other ways of financing. That's just one aspect of our economy that I've identified to you that's a corporatist rather than a capitalist system. If it was a capitalist system, I could set up my own bank. Tomorrow I could set up my own bank. People want to come and actually trade with me and trade through my bank, then they could do it. Just now I can't do that because I've got to go to the FCA and get regulated. I've got to have certain capital adequacies. And if I've only got one client, I don't need all this. If I've only got one client and I'm actually working with that one person, I don't need all that. I can actually set up and develop. But what they do is they put so much capital adequacies, regulation, individual qualifications, that it stymies any capitalism, any new entrance into the market, which a lot of it's not needed when you're only dealing with one person. If you're only starting up, you're only dealing with one, they should let it evolve into a greater regulated system. But they're deliberately doing that because the Conservatives, and especially the Christian Democrats, are a corporatist rather than a capitalist party. Which is a massive thing as well. It would really boost our economy to actually have a capitalist rather than a corporatist system. And only by Nigel beating the Conservative Party are we actually going to see a change. And the Labour Party and the Liberals, Nigel beating them is only the thing that's going to show us a change in British politics. The SNP haven't really done it in Scotland. I was really underwhelmed by the SNP. They're just another corporatist globalist party. The only difference is that they want to put them on power, a wee bit more power in Holyrood, and still be governed by the unelected commissioners in Brussels. Anyway, the whole of Britain's going to be out anyway, so that's certainly something. And it's going to be whether or not Boris renegotiates May deal and tries to put the same deal through, but slightly changed. Oh, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. Listen, I love you, my baby gorillas. I hope you enjoyed that. Waste Monster again.